Hello and welcome to Den of Fathers. I'm your host Ian Brown, and today I want to touch on a topic that I believe every single father out there has thought about or questioned at one point or another, and that is, am I a good father? I think anybody that's been a father for any amount of time has had that thought pass through their mind at one point or another. It may be only for a moment, but it's happened. Some of us it's more frequent. It all depends. It depends on how you operate, how you think. To me, I look at that question too as I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I don't believe that it's inherently that we are being a bad parent or we're doing something wrong. For me, it's something where I'm constantly evaluating and evolving in my parenting. So there is times where was that a good parenting move? Was that the best decision at that time? Could have I handled it differently? Now, given any situation in life, sometimes there's situations where you're faced with a choice A and a choice B, and neither one is necessarily the greatest choice. So we have to take the resources and the knowledge we have at that time and make the best decision we can given the facts of what we know and needing to make A or B decision. And we make the decision. Sometimes that's the better decision, sometimes it's not. Retrospect, hindsight 2020, we get to look back at that and figure that out. And I think that comes into play of the am I being a good father? Am I a good dad? Those questions that might come up in a self evaluation. Now, I don't want that to run into a position where somebody is constantly cutting down their decisions and belittling themselves as a father, because that's, you don't want to live in a negative place with that. If we live in that 80-20 space, if 20% of the time you're questioning and evaluating, but the other 80% of the time just doing it and being it, I think that's a healthy balance to it. But if you're constantly thinking, am I a good dad? Am I doing this right? Something's off, something's missing. You need to get to the root of what's going on there. For me, it's not a constant thing I think about all the time. It's not an everyday thing. But there is certainly, I can think back even in the recent history of times where I've had interactions with my kids and thought about it maybe right after or even hours later, that night, the next day, or I'm evaluating and going, am I a good father? Was that the best decision at that time? Should I circle back around to that? Does that deserve another conversation with my kids? What can I learn from it? Sometimes I analyze that and it is, I made the best decision I could for my kids and my family. Other times, there might have been a different direction or a better path for me to go. So I'll evaluate that to be a better father, to be a better dad. So that for me is just a little bit of how I approach that question of, am I a good dad? Am I a good father? Because it's a question that we're all going to face some point in our fathering journey, and probably for most of us from start to finish. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, and there's nothing to be afraid of with that. It's part of the journey. It's part of the growth. It's part of the evaluation. So what do you guys think? Do you guys evaluate your fathering? Have you had these thoughts of, am I a good father? Was that the right decision? Am I making the right decisions for my kids and my family? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're enjoying this topic today, please think about giving it a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying any of the content that we're offering here on the channel and it's bringing you any value, please think about hitting both the subscribe button and the share button. As the subscribe button allows you to stay connected to the community, and the share button allows you to connect friends and family to the community, so you can continue to further this message and impact as many lives as possible. So once again, I do thank you all for tuning in. Keep getting better every day, and we'll see you all again soon. Take care.